Hi there, let's look at number 3. It says the top of the lighthouse is 120 meters above the water level. The angle of depression from the top of the lighthouse to a motorboat is 20 degrees. So there's my triangle I drew showing the distance to the top of the lighthouse. And they're saying that the height of the lighthouse is 120 meters above the water level. So I'm just going to label the height of this lighthouse. It says the angle of depression from the top of the lighthouse to a motorboat is 20 degrees. So if you imagine you're in the lighthouse and looking straight out, that would be an angle of 0 degrees. And you're going to have to look down a certain angle of 20 degrees to see a motorboat. So I'll just draw on a cute little motorboat here. Obviously my artistic skills are not very good. But anyway, so it says how far from the base of the lighthouse is the motorboat. So the base of the lighthouse is the bottom of the lighthouse. And so it's that distance to the motorboat. So this bottom length here would be what they're looking for. Now you might say, how do I do this problem when the angle is on the outside of the triangle? So if you remember, if the person in the lighthouse has to look down 20 degrees, then the person in the motorboat would have to look up 20 degrees by alternate interior angles, being congruent. So now let's kind of look at what kind of problem we need to do to solve for this. So our angle that we know is 20 degrees, and we know the opposite side, which is the height of the lighthouse, and we want to know the adjacent side, which is x. So this is going to be a tangent problem. So opposite and adjacent go with tangent. So it's the TOA part of SOHCAHTOA. So tangent of 20 degrees is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent, which would be 120 divided by x. So now we want to solve for x. So to get x out of the denominator, we're going to multiply both sides by x. And that will cancel our x's on the right, and we'll end up with x times tangent of 20 degrees is equal to 120. So as our final step to solve for x, we are going to have to divide both sides by tangent of 20. Make sure that you're in degree mode when you type this in your calculator. So approximately, this distance we're finding is 329.7 meters. That is the distance from the base of the lighthouse to the motorboat. All right, that's a wrap on that one. Example 4 says, what is the angle of elevation to the sun when a 6-foot man casts a 10.3 foot shadow? So I drew my 6-foot man, and this bottom length here is his shadow, and it says his shadow is 10.3 feet. So I will label that on my triangle. And he is 6 feet tall, so I will label the height of my triangle 6 feet. And the question is, what is the angle of elevation to the sun? So this little circle up here is actually my sun. So the angle of elevation is always measured from horizontal. So they are talking about this angle from the bottom from horizontal looking up. That would be angle theta that they're wanting to know, what is the angle of elevation to the sun. So if we're looking for this angle, the sides that we know are going to be the opposite side, which is his height, and the bottom side here would be the adjacent side. So again, we're doing another tangent problem. Opposite and adjacent go with tangent. Tangent of angle theta is equal to opposite over adjacent, which would be 6 feet over 10.3 feet. So if you remember, the only way to solve for a missing angle is we want to get rid of a tangent. The only way to get rid of tangent is to do a tangent inverse. So we're going to take the tangent inverse. So you're going to have to press second tangent on your calculator. Make sure you're in degree mode. Okay, so again, we're doing the tangent inverse, not the tangent. And we're going to get theta is approximately 30.2 degrees. So that would be the angle of elevation to the sun. All right, a rectangle is 150 feet long. The diagonal makes an angle of 60 degrees with the width. How wide is the rectangle? So I'm going to start with labeling the 150 feet or length on my rectangle. I'm just going to make it the longer side. And it could be this bottom side, or likewise we could put it at the top here and make that length 150 feet as well. The diagonal makes an angle of 60 degrees with the width. So this red line here is my diagonal. So now we need to figure out which angle is the 60 degrees that they're referring to. So it says the diagonal makes an angle of 60 degrees with the width. So the width must be the other length of my rectangle. So I'm looking for the angle between the diagonal and the width. So this would be this angle right here. So what is this angle? This other angle would be the angle the diagonal makes with the length, which is not what they were giving us. All right, so now we are looking to find the width of the rectangle. Our reference angle is 60, so we have the opposite side, and we want the width, which would be our adjacent side. So we'll just call the width W, I guess, for the sake of this problem. You could call it X, whatever you want, or you could leave it as A. So again, we have opposite and adjacent, so we're doing another tangent problem. A lot of these story problems you're going to find are tangent problems, so don't be alarmed if you're doing a lot of tangent work. So tangent of 60 is opposite over adjacent, which would be 150 over W or over A. And again, to undo dividing by W, we're going to multiply both sides by W. So we'll end up with W times tangent of 60 is equal to 150. Last step to solve for W would be to divide both sides by tangent of 60 degrees. Again, make sure your calculator is in degree mode when you calculate this. So W would approximately equal 86.6 feet. Again, make sure you include units. So in terms of Khan Academy problems, I know a lot of times they are actually rounding to the nearest hundredth, and in our problem we are rounding to the nearest tenth. So let's kind of look at what we had before we rounded. So it was 86.60254 and so on. So if they ask you to round to the nearest hundredth in Khan Academy, that would be the hundredths place would be the 0. So it goes tenths, hundredths. If we look to the right of the 0, it's a 2. So anything less than 5 to the right would mean that we do not round up. So this is just going to be 86.60 feet. So when you're putting your answers in Khan Academy, make sure you put that 0 in order for Khan Academy to give you credit for the right answer. All right, see you later, guys. Take care. Bye.